meeting on the 8th of July for Coastside County Water District, our regular meeting. And we'll now do a roll call, please.
Director Coverdale.
Sort of.
Michelson.
Present.
Director Mueller.
Here.
Vice President Feldman.
Here.
President Reynolds.
Remote, yes. And so at this point, I will read my. All right. So I'm going to be participating remotely pursuant to the just cause basis under AB 2449 because I'm caring for a parent that prevents me from attending the meeting in person. I don't have anyone over the age of 18. Actually, there's no one else in the room with me. And I will have the video and audio on. In the event I'm unable, we can have the vice president take over. And we have three directors physically present. And do you want me to read the rest of this January, the remote participation? No, okay,
You're
got
good.
it.
And just as a reminder to Lisa, all action needs to be done by roll call vote.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, yep. All right, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance
Pledge
to the
allegiance
flag
to the
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all. All right, thank you. All right, do we have any public comment at this time? All right, seeing none. Do we have any directors who'd like to pull or amend or comment on the consent calendar? And just as a note, Director Mueller was able to review our disbursements for the month. And does any directors want to amend anything?
Mr. Chair, may I make a brief comment about reviewing the monthly claims report?
Please, John, go ahead.
It'll be very, very quick, but I wanted a couple spots I noticed were wonderful about our fire extinguisher annual service, and the district is always up to date in that, and also some of the exercise programs for staff. It looked like it was good there. And then wellness grant. And then the one big one I wanted to comment on was that for our customer base with Monterey Bay Analytical Services, we did 14 of those for $5,510. So it shows our customer base that we are testing all the work that the staff is doing to make sure our water is good. So I wanted to comment on that. And then
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's important. The rest I see all in order. And one more thing regarding our purchase from SFPUC. I think that's always a good reason for us to continue to work hard on local water resources.
Yeah, it gets your attention.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Thank you.
Okay. Any other directors?
I'm just noticing the power of fleet buying. We're buying a new Ford truck and we're getting 15% discount.
There you go.
Oh, it's next time. Okay, I thought.
Yeah. Wrong item.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Chris. All right.
Try negotiating that yourself. That's pretty tough. In this
I
All
move
right.
we accept the consent calendar as presented with
All right.
the comments from Director Mueller.
Perfect. Do we have a sec? Do we have a second? Okay. And can we have a roll call, please?
Director Coverdale.
Certainly.
Director Michelson.
Yes.
Director Mueller.
Aye.
Vice President Feldman.
Yes.
President Reynolds.
Yes. All right. Very good. Excellent. Thank you. And we go on to general business. And this, Chris, is the item you were. Yep, this is your item, Chris.
Yeah, no, because
How about meetings attended? Are we going to go do that one?
Oh, yeah.
Director's comments?
Yep.
This general business.
Item 5, meetings attended, director's comments. Do we have any?
Not for me.
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was at a Sierra high elevation lake, and I noticed that it was extremely full. And the Sierra was very dry. There weren't a lot of snow patches left, even on the east and north sides, although there were some snow patches still remaining. But I was delighted to see that the dammed reservoirs up in the area where I was, near Carson Pass, they're brimming, they're full. Water seems clean, pure, and I thought it was very, very exciting. And in reading the Hatch Hatchy reports, the reports from SFPC, it looks like our reservoirs are in good shape. And so I was delighted to see that. I watched that carefully. I worry about it. And so I was just delighted to see it. It wasn't really a meeting, but I wanted to make that comment. So
Thank
glad
you,
to see
Ken.
the water.
Good. Any other director comments? All right, let's go now on to the general business. And item A, I think this is Mary.
Okay. So as part of the district's fleet management, staff would like to move forward with purchasing a new Ford F-150 4x4. And our staff obtained 3 quotes, all which reflect government fleet pricing. And the lowest quote came in from Serramonte Ford. Staff is requesting that the board waive the formal competitive bidding requirements for sealed competitive bids to move forward with the purchase of this vehicle.
All right.
Yeah,
And you did-
I'd like to make the motion. If no one,
I have a comment.
No, technical question. We
All right.
waived the competitive bidding process, but somehow or other, I read this in a way that said that we did get 3 bids. I don't understand it.
They weren't sealed.
And the reason that we did not have them sealed, I'm just trying, again,
It's
it goes faster and we want it to just go quickly. I'm just trying.
Timing of when they're available, if they're sealed, everything would have to be in order. So these allow them to bid a little bit differently.
Okay, just figuring, the time is of the essence and that we could get a good deal if we move quickly, but we did get 3 bids.
Yes.
Okay, they just weren't called field bids, so that's why, okay, just, thank you.
Yep.
You got it?
Through the president, I have a comment.
Yeah,
We
go ahead,
recently
Ken.
We recently bought a crew cab Ford that was not 4x4. And I think we paid very close to this amount of money as a private purchaser. So I'm confident that that's an excellent price.
Mhm.
And the 3 bids helped me
Sure.
to feel positive about it as
Right.
well. I know how you guys pinch the pennies, so I don't really
Good.
worry about it.
yeah, and that was the comment. Just quick math showed me we got 15% discount. And that's better, certainly better than Joe coming off the street. So we did really, really well. And they took care of us here. So based on that, am I free to make the motion to waive the procedural requirements for sealed competitive bids and authorize the general manager to procure a new Ford F-150 4x4 crew cab pickup from Ceremony Ford Inc. for a not to exceed amount of $48,430.
Perfect. Do we have a second?
Second,
Thank you. Do we have a roll call, please?
Director Coverdale,
assuredly.
Director Michelson,
Yes.
Director Mueller,
Aye.
Vice President Feldman,
Yes.
President Reynolds.
Yes. All right. The next item involves a bid with the Andrini brothers, and I rent property from the Andrini brothers, so I'm going to remove any risk of perceived conflict of interest. I'll recuse myself on this next item B, and I will step into the Zoom waiting room. And I know, interesting, right? Is there's a sofa in the Zoom waiting room? I doubt it. And then when it's over, staff will bring me back into the meeting, and we'll move forward. So without further ado, off to the Zoom waiting room and its couch I go.
I would be willing to make a motion if it's.
Hold on.
I didn't know, not yet, sorry.
I don't have Yes, mirrored. So I will take care of this item in the president's absence and ask Mary to discuss the agenda item. Thank you.
you. Also, our staff has identified an opportunity to replace 110 feet of 16-inch ductile iron pipe and two 16-inch valves that currently feed the Half Moon Bay Tank 3 inlet pipe up at the Carter Hill tank site. The current pipeline and valves were originally installed as part of the new 1980 Nunes water treatment plant project. And they're located in the roadway next to the Carter Hill tanks. So I'm going to hand this over to Sean, who will provide an overview of the project that we're proposing.
So everybody knows we're replacing that main tank right now, the new DN tank we're putting in. And Andrini has already demoed a lot of the pipe around the area. And thank you, Lisa, for putting it up. So all that gray area and then wrapping behind tank 2 has all been demoed and will be demoed to the road. That yellow strip up and then the tie into tank 3, there's 2 existing valves there that are obviously 45 years old now. And that pipeline coming down, it seemed like a really good opportunity for us, knowing that we're going at the end of this project, the last phase of the DN tank is to make that road robust, compact it, use cement treated base, and then pour asphalt over the top. If we don't do this up on the valves, we will have to cut into that road, remobilize, and do that work when we go to do the next tank, which we are all already planning to do. And so staff and management and even EKI, we all met up there and looked at it, and it seemed like a really good time to do it so that we would not have to tear into the road in the future on a project we're already planning. And if anybody has any questions, we're here to answer.
It says that it's a temporary AC patch. So my question is just, I don't really understand that.
When we're done with the trenching, the pipeline will be taken out, exhumed, and put back in. We do not have a lot of room, but we need this to happen while the project's going on, and we've got lots of concrete trucks and everything else. We have to put the road back where it can handle the loads and our chemical deliveries that we're using at the treatment plant. So we can't just willy-nilly throw it back in. We're going to put in it'll be a thin layer. It won't be like 2 lifts of 2 inches of asphalt each. It's just going to be a skim coat, but it has to be, substantial enough to handle the loads that we're taking up there.
So it's currently under asphalt. I guess that's the question I'm really asking. I don't doubt your need to do it or the reality of what it is, but I just wasn't really understanding that it was already under asphalt.
It is.
Oh yeah, great. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, I sit on the facilities along with our in the penalty box president. And we concurred that this was the best course of action, was to replace it now, in that when we do the second phase of the concrete tank, it'll make sense that we have new infrastructure to serve it. So based on age, well, we'd be remiss in not doing this. So then we start with everything new. So this is not new. We've already been discussing this for months at facilities.
Yeah, good.
Other comments? John, nothing? Okay. Hearing no other comment, I'll call for a motion to accept this recommendation.
I would be willing to move, Mr. Vice Chair.
Okay. You have to read it, right?
Yep, recommend my motion here. I move we waive the procedural requirements for steel competitive bids and authorize the general manager to enter into a contractual agreement with Andrini Brothers Incorporated for the replacement of the main inlet pipeline and the two 16-inch valves at the Carter Hill tank site at not to exceed the price of $161,078. And again, I thank the staff for their comments tonight to ensure us the right move to make at the right time. And I think also, I think we're all big supporters of our local contractors just down the hill, so they know what they're doing with the professional staff we have up there, so. I think it was a good move for us to move forward.
I gotta believe that there's a significant savings in doing it this way. That we're doing it while we have the opportunity.
You would be saving on remote costs. We're not remobilizing.
Right.
So for sure. And
So it's a
the
good
road
catch.
repairs after we already fixed the road would be substantial.
If there wasn't a second, I second.
Secondly. Okay, we have a second and have a vote, please.
Okay, Director Coverdale,
Enthusiastically.
Director Michelson,
Yes.
Director Muller,
Aye.
Vice President Bellman,
Yes.
and President Reynolds is abstained.
He's absent.
Oh, absent.
Okay, so given that we have finished this motion, I guess we can call
I'm getting back.
Director Reynolds, Vice President Reynolds back into the meeting from the Zoom box. There he is.
Give me that. Didn't come.
Okay,
Ring the little buzzer.
okay, Glenn,
Your
you're,
tacos, you ready?
you're on point again.
It's muted.
I see you.
Yep, can you hear me okay?
Can't see you.
Working on it. All right. Yeah, we had this trouble a little earlier. So we'll keep working on it to see that we can get it back on. And where is video? All right, Michelle, if you know how to get the video back on when you're using an iPhone, you can chip in and tell me how to do it. Oh, there it goes. I think I did it. Yep. Perfect. All right, guys, I'm back.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Item C, fiscal year 24-25, year-end financial results preliminary.
Okay. Thank you, Glenn. We are presenting an informational only report tonight on our preliminary financials for 2025-26. Preliminary in the sense that we still have work to do with our audit partners and some entries that we need to make annually for depreciation and things like that. But for the most part, this is a good indication of how we ended the fiscal year. So we'll walk through it very quickly. I'm going to highlight things from our report and our schedule that we attached to it. If you have any questions or want to dive deeper, please holler. I'll try to get through this quickly. Highlights, operating revenues are essentially on budget. At $14,100,000, we were within 0.3% of the budget for that line item. 516 million gallons on a budget of 520. So very, very close to the budget, which is to my mind, great news. Non-operating revenues, $588,000 favorable, dominated by interest income. And for a couple of reasons, we had funds from the certificates of participation that we issued in January. We've spent a little north of $2 million.
I was wondering what seal.
Yeah, there you go. An acronym, I should have spelled it out. The certificates of participation, we brought in $8 million in January. We spent a little over 2.1 million of that. And so we're still earning interest on that money. So that's helping as well versus budget. Moving over to the operating expenses, $191,000 favorable in OpEx. We've listed where we've saved money versus budget this year, as well as where we've exceeded budget in certain line items. And there's one I'd like to highlight here, and that is, again, related to the certificates of participation, the COPs. We had $221,000 worth of expense associated with our financial advisors, our bond counsel, our underwriters, that we are reflecting as a cost of issuance and operating expense in this year's financials. So we just booked that in June and was unbudgeted. And so despite that, we're still $191,000 favorable. So overall, our managers, our general manager, we do a good job of managing our costs. And that's really the bottom line here. Yes, Ken?
So my question on that was, if we looked at the cost of the issuance, and we looked at these costs that we didn't have budgeted, and we looked at what the total cost would be, or the total cost with these unbudgeted items.
Yeah.
Would we be on a favorable side or would we be on an unfavorable side? I don't know if that's a good way to.
You mean
phrase it.
versus taking a simple loan?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, I'm surprised that it was unbudgeted.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's a negative. That's not my point.
Mhm.
But if we were to take the unbudgeted amounts and take the real costs, and we were to take what we anticipated to be the total real costs,
Yeah.
would we actually have thought it was going to cost 221,000 less?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Where? I haven't, go ahead if you.
Well, that 221,000 was factored into our cost of issuance.
Right.
So we have the discount, we have the 221,000. So when we look at our, what we got for the loan, it was, that was factored in to get to our effective interest rate.
Yeah, a couple of things I would add to that, Mary, but thank you. One is that we raised north of $8 million. The gross amount we raised funded the payments for this 221. So from a cash flow basis, we got the money in and we got it right out. And from an interest perspective, we still paid, including the cost of issuance, less than we would have paid if we'd gone out to a bank for a loan. So we netted, we were favorable in that regard, Ken.
Yeah.
And plus, at the time we did the original budget, we didn't know that this was going to occur. So we did not bake it into the budget initially.
Well, that's why, in reading the report,
Yeah.
I just felt that it was unfortunate the way that it had to be reported. Because I think we, in fact, accounted for these costs. And the way we accounted for them is we compared it to taking a loan.
That's right.
And we actually came out favorably.
And we did.
Yeah. And so I just think it's important for people listening
Oh, yes.
to hear that, because when I read that, it doesn't sound like that.
Right.
Sounds like, oh my gosh, they weren't paying attention and there were these unforeseen. It's still, our budget's fantastic. We're still way positive. So it's not a negative thing.
Oh, no.
But the way it comes across in the report, in my opinion, just kind of raises a question. And I don't think it has to, because I think, in fact, the way we borrowed the money to pay for this improvement has been fantastic. We saved money. We were very cost effective. We were very efficient. And so it's more about that. And that's the reason I raised the issue is I don't have any problem with it at all, because I know how it went. But I think I attended a few meetings and might have been more well-informed than somebody sitting out there going, oh my gosh, well,
Yeah, these guys
are missing 221,000. They must be asleep at the wheel.
We just
I don't think we're asleep at the wheel.
No, I wouldn't say sleep at the wheel either, but I appreciate your comment. We didn't know when we finalized our budget back last year in June, we didn't anticipate this. We couldn't have.
Yes.
But we did, and Mary and I went through quite a few meetings to assess whether or not we ought to take a bank loan or go out to the market with the certificates of participation. And we did that analysis with the help of our financial advisor. And so this is the route we determined was best.
And I think you made great decisions. So that's the summary comment for me, is I think the way it went is fantastic.
But to our credit, we remain transparent
Right.
in the way we use our money and how we get it. And we tell like it is. You gotta lay the cards out. And to me, that's the bottom line. We're transparent. We say how we did it, say what the costs were, and that's it. We know that all this stuff had been handled and done, but we have to report this appropriately. So I know this is the way it has to be.
Yeah, we
No
had
question about it.
excellent guidance throughout, you folks on the finance committee.
Sure.
So
Sure.
Yeah, while this expense was incurred over the fiscal year, I see it as amortized over the length of the bond,
Right.
which minimizes. I mean, what's the bond? Is it 25 years?
20 years.
20 years. So then it's, it's $21,000 a year. So then that's how I see it.
Well, you're absolutely right, Director Michelson, because we are indeed reflecting that in our ongoing payment statement.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So it's.
Yeah.
But now everybody understands.
Well, I can't believe how many emails I get, other people wanting to lend us money, Oh, my family's got $20 million. You guys want it? It's a delete.
You gotta check the interest rate.
Yeah, they're always like 9 or 10%. You're like, yeah.
But as Ken
Anyway,
mentioned,
thank you.
as Ken made, point Ken made is that even with some of the things that occurred that may not have been counted on initially, we're still under budget and over our revenue targets. I mean, I can't, even on the finance committee, you have to have work on this, always believe that we can get in and come so close and do as well as we do each year. I mean, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of work to make that happen. It's not obvious, but it does. You can't get this good and this close without having to spend a lot of time thinking about it and doing it and making sure you're making the right decisions. That's my opinion.
Well said, Mr. Vice Chair.
Well, and I, for one, I'm really glad that Mary, who's carried that ball for a long time alone, suddenly has a halfback or a fullback in the backfield with her to go through these things, because these numbers are complex and they're big numbers. If I'd ever thought you're gonna spend 11 or $12 million up at Nunes, 10 years ago, I probably would have passed out. And so it's pretty darn amazing that this district is putting that project together, and it's gonna be, is it a 100-year project, 75-year project? And that's something to put your name on, do it. By the way, do you get to, on the floor of this city, get the initials in, or I guess maybe.
Well, along that line, we had that flood 2 years ago, unexpected 92, another $3 million project, so these are that we all have to be prepared for the unexpected.
Yes.
And that's why the finance is very important.
Well,
It doesn't cost, it pays.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say, honestly, it's a privilege working on their stuff. I went through time last year, and then we're close to I never took full credit for that. You could shoot me because a lot of great guys were married.
And I just call myself, I'm kind of tired, but it was actually 20 years. It's 11,000 people.
I was so hoping you got that math.
Yeah, I know.
You went to Half Bay High.
I haven't had a lot of study. I think Half Bay High School. Yeah.
The latter part of our report tonight.
And $800 a month's pretty cheap.
Yeah. What a deal.
That's serious. We summarized our capital improvement program spend for this year. We spent 7.5 million against the budget of 11.35. And we've identified that a couple of delays on projects that are underway, Carter Hill Tank and San Vicente Denison Water Development Project have contributed to that underrun versus budget. But another thing is, it's all goodness with respect to Highway 92. We're going to come in under budget. We're nearly complete right there. And I mean, we're weeks away, if not a week away, from being complete on that project. So it's really great news on that one. And when we're done with that, you'll hear about the exact numbers versus budget, but it's going to be favorable. And we're pleased with that, to say the least. And then we've documented the projects that contributed to the 7.5 million spend here. So I don't want to read this for you. And we've also attached on the O&M side, the operations and maintenance budget, the schedule with some notes. Clearly anxious to answer your questions about it, but in the interest of time, I'll stop here.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All the directors, anybody got any other correct comments or? All right. Thank you, Jeffrey. Now we're on to D, approval of amended salary schedule.
Yes, co-authored this with Darren and obviously Mary. we are asking that the board approve an amended salary schedule for fiscal year 2025-26, and then the org chart that's updated as well. And both for the same reason, we are proposing the addition of a new job classification called treatment/distribution operator dash lead assigned to distribution, the key word being lead. What's occurred here is that after his recent promotion, Darren Sturdivant and his supervisor, newly minted supervisor, Justin Johns, have been assessing their organization, and they've identified a need, and that is to have a lead in the field who can lead and mentor, or lead, direct the work, especially things like problem assessment and resolution in the field. The issue being that, or the challenge rather, that Darren and Dustin are facing is the fact that the senior operator role and Dustin's supervisor role are both focused on administrative functions as well as field management. They're dealing with backflow and cross connection activities, oversight activities, data management, tons of regulatory reporting. And as such, the need for someone in the field who can lead our relatively new operators is important. And so we're not talking about adding a position here. It's simply assigning that lead role to an existing employee. And we worked through, with help from Darren, really how we ought to assess the salary range for this role. And the thought, and check me on my wording, Darren, please, Mary. The role is seen as, it's important, obviously, it's elevated beyond the operator role by 7.5%, but it'll be a little north of 11.5% below the senior operator role. Why? Because of the assessment of the breadth and the complexity associated with the senior operator role. So that's where we've kind of pitched it in the salary schedule. It's between those two, the senior operator and the operator roles for distribution. And so our recommendation is that you folks approve this addition to the salary schedule. And we've also, I should note that we've had a chance to work with John and the HR committee, John and Bob, who helped us formulate this recommendation. We've reflected not only in the salary schedule, but we've attached the job description here, highlighted the sections that we edited, that we took the operator role and edited it, highlighted what we added to that role to reflect the lead responsibility. And then lastly, we have an org chart attached to this report. There's a box in the center at the bottom of the org chart, which is where the operators appear. We're simply going to add the word lead, just as we do with certifications on our normal org chart. It'll be associated with one of our existing employees. There won't be an additional name added to the box. It's just the label lead. So that's it for our report. Darren, do you have anything you'd like to add? No. Darren? Okay.
All
That's
right.
our recommendation.
Do we have any director comments, or do we have a motion?
I'd like to just make a brief comment. I think we, on the committee, Director Feldman and myself sat through a couple hours with it, but we got such good professional information from staff out there reaching back to us. I think that's so important. So I compliment them for that, because we don't understand what they're going through out in the field. We do now. So thank you, staff, for stepping up. Thank you.
Excellent. Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve amended salary schedule for fiscal year 2025-26, an updated organization chart that include the addition of a new job classification, treatment/distribution operator lead assigned to distribution.
I'll second it.
Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Director Coverdale,
Encouragingly so.
Director Michelson,
Yes.
Director Mueller,
Aye.
Vice President Feldman,
Yes.
President Reynolds.
Yes,
Can I make a comment, Mr. President?
of course.
I, for one, am delighted to see the reorganization chart. I think that it's something that has been well thought out. I think a lot of effort has gone into it. I think a lot of director and staff effort has gone into it. I think it's going to make people understand the complexity of the system that we operate at the Coastside County Water District. I hope or I encourage the staff and the Human Resource Committee, if that is the appropriate spot, to really now go one step further and look at who's got how long and what positions and where is that going to go. It doesn't have to be reported to us because the only person that works for us outside the attorney is the general manager. But I think it's really important now to kind of look at who's in what positions, where they are in the stage of their careers, how much longevity, how much time, and really think about how these lead positions can be incentivized to want to be here long enough to step up. And I'm not quite sure where that happens at all the management levels. Really not my job. You know, it's really the job of you, the staff, and you're doing a great job. But we're all getting a little older. I mean, I'm getting a lot older, but some people are getting a little older. And it's going to be really important because we have people that have been here a long time and they know a lot of stuff. And we've been fortunate because a lot of them are local people that grew up here. It's kind of different when we go out on the open market and, you know, we're trying to entertain and find people. You know, it's a difficult place to pay the rent. You know, Half Moon Bay is not an inexpensive place to live. So I, in a positive way, just hope that the next step in this process is to really look down and think about, you know, what's going to happen in 2 years, 5 years, who's going to be gone, who's still going to be here, who's going to have a memory, you know, who's going to be able to transmit all this experience that we have in the district, because it's wonderful. I mean, it's when I think of people that grew up here, went to, you know, elementary school, high school here, have worked years and years on this board. I just, for me, that's a concern. And, but anyway, that's a comment. I hope it's a positive comment. And I'm delighted to see transition here and the recognition for people who have, you know, heart and soul for 30 years, 25 years, 20 years. It's pretty impressive. So, pretty impressive. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Ken. All right. We gotta get a motion. Yeah. Do we have a motion?
We're past that.
We already did that.
Yeah, we voted on
Oh,
it.
sorry. Okay. All right. Then we need a roll call.
You already did that. We're on 60 now.
I'll send you a motion. I hope your mom's all right.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. All right. I got into the appendix, so let me go back to the proper list. All right, we have, gotta make the screen bigger so I can read it. We are on item E, consider the approval of resolution on the amending the conflict of interest, and I understand this is something we do biannually. And we've had a reorganization, so that brings this up for 2 reasons then, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
That we removed the superintendent of operations position and added a water treatment operations manager and a water distribution operations manager. So we are asking the board to approve the resolution to amend the district's code.
Do we have any director's comments on this? I read it and it looked pretty straightforward, and it made sense on why we were doing this, and I didn't see any significant changes. Are the other directors okay with this?
Based on being okay, can I read the motion?
Okay.
Adopt
Yes,
resolution.
please.
Adopt
Yep.
resolution number 2025-5, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Coastside County Water District, amending its conflict of interest code.
Second.
Excellent. Roll call, please.
Director Coverdale,
Aye.
Director Michelson,
Yes.
Director Mueller,
And I think a very quick example, this evening, our chair stepped away for one of the evening motions early on.
Vice President Philman,
Yes.
President Reynolds.
Yes. All right, thank you very much, team. Let's move on to item F, which is considering the approval of resolution to establish appropriations limit applicable to during district fiscal year.
This is an item that we do every July.
It's the 23rd time.
And it's Article 13B of the California Constitution, and it's implementing legislation requires each local agency to review the appropriations limit applicable to it annually. So we have the calculation for the next fiscal year. And it is because this calculated limit is far in excess of the proceeds from taxes, there's no foreseeable impact to the district's budget.
I'd like to encourage that they appropriate this money.
Yeah.
No argument.
That got so moved. They appropriate the money.
Based on this being housekeeping, I'm gonna go ahead and read the motion. So this is like either 23rd or 24th time I've done this. Approve resolution number 2025-6, establishing appropriations limit applicable to district during fiscal years 2025 through 2026.
I'll second it. Can we get a roll call?
Director Coverdale,
Aye.
Director Michelson,
Yes.
Director Mueller,
I'm sure my wife's name was on one for me at home.
Vice President Philman,
Yes.
President Reynolds.
Yes. All right. Very good. Item G, this doesn't seem like this one needs a lot of debate. We're rescheduling the November 11th meeting because it's a Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Can I just go ahead and make a motion?
Please do.
Okay, I recommend that we approve to reschedule the November 11th, 2025 Coastside County Water District Regular Board of Directors meeting to Wednesday, November 12th, 2025 in recognition of Veterans Day holiday.
Yeah. Second it.
All right, we have a first, we have a second. Can we get a roll call, please?
Director Coverdale,
Patriotically.
Director Michelson,
Yes.
Director Mueller,
Aye.
Vice President Philman,
Yes.
President Reynolds.
Yes. All right. Our next item, we have Carter Hill pre-stressed concrete tank and seismic upgrades. Update number 9. Pretty exciting, guys.
You can go. Go to the next one. So, no, back one. Okay, so June was a little bit slower because we're waiting for a pipe to arrive. But a number of things happened, although in pictures it doesn't look like it because a lot of the work is, underground or working with the, the actual getting ready for the foundation. So we're able to install the inlet, outlet, and drainage pipes, and we did the concrete pours of the drainage pipe encasements, and we installed the liner with the tank footprint. So we're starting to get with the wall forms delivered. I will say if we go on to the next slide, we're moving into now some action going to happen in July. As of as of this week, the remaining liner was installed and the placement of the class 2 aggregate base and grading is finishing up. And so we had rebar delivered today, and we have the foundation is getting ready, and we expect we'll be pouring concrete on next Thursday.
Wow.
For the
Excellent.
foundation. So
Good news.
very, very exciting. Shauna, do you have anything else to add? Or
Pretty much covered it. It's,
we can show a picture.
yeah, so those trenches you see were the pipe encasements for the 6-inch drain, 16-inch inlet, and then the 24-inch tie-in that's gonna tie into tank 3, and then the eventual twin tank that's gonna go next to it. So those encasements were poured in place. They're separate from the foundation. And the foundation is gonna overlay it. When they were done there, you'll see that bottom left-hand. They were tying in the 30 mil liner that's going underneath. So that's our leak detection system. So we'll always know. And it tells us whether it's groundwater coming from up and under or leaking from the tank going through. So
I'm so impressed with our general manager. I thought her office was here, not up on the hill. She's quite knowledgeable of what you all are doing up there.
very much so.
Thank you, Mary.
Very good.
What's
Pretty
the
exciting.
diameter? What's the diameter of the footprint?
100 feet.
100? And what's the width of the liner material? Is it seamed, that liner?
It was delivered in 4 chunks. And and then they welded them together. The process so that they would roll them out, and and there's overlap. It holds over. So when it pours, because that thing actually, that thickened edge that goes around the whole perimeter, when that liner will come up and fold over, and then it ties into, it all ties into one catchment. We have a manhole that will be there.
And how much vertical liner is there out from under the base of the tank? Because it comes up higher than the bottom of the tank, right?
Yes.
That liner. How much does it come on the sides? Is it like a foot or 18 inches or?
I think it's closer to 4 or 5 feet.
Oh, wow.
It rises up though, because it goes up and over and then starts climbing the wall.
Oh, it does. So does it actually then attach to the concrete wall? That liner, or does it lay over some type of a header or something to hold it?
When they tied it into the encasement, they did attach it, but I do not think it's attached anywhere around the tank.
Interesting.
I think it just comes over the foundation, and there's still some work to do because they have to tie in the pipes and stuff, but that's after they pour the foundation.
Interesting that, I see a lot of water features constructed, and it's very often they use a 30 mil or a 40 mil or whatever rubber. So it's amazing to me, something that substantial sitting on top of that rubber line. I mean, just thinking about it, not really, I don't have an opinion about it, it's curious.
Neither do I, to be honest.
Scaled up water feature.
It's pretty wild. Yeah, it's only $1 million.
Yeah. A little more than your average.
And it is swimmable.
It's not.
Yeah, no swimming in the reservoir. All right, excellent. Next item on there. We have our operations report. Did I lose you guys?
No.
We're asleep.
So obviously we had the DN tank coordination continued, and like Mary said, the floor pour is scheduled for Thursday, the 17th. Dennison was online all month. We did flow meter calibrations, and like to thank Kathleen's been working with us to really work on the ones, and I think we made some progress this year on the ones that feed the system. So we went through and did them all at both treatment plants.
So this will give us tighter numbers for lost water?
Yeah, it'll help with the, it's not gonna change the numbers, but it'll give us a better validation of our.
We're continuing to mow at the newest water treatment plant. And we're nearing completion, the painting and labeling of the interior pipe at the newest water treatment plant. And the wash water recovery pipeline that we brought to you guys, it was a change order for the GSW project, but that's been completed. It's online and operational. And is actually being painted as we, yesterday and today. So that's up and running. And then the only thing to finish is when we do that pavement, we will delineate that area so that it shows that it's not a driving area because it is
Oh,
hanging off the wall.
I like the graphic, so when the layperson walks in there, you can see how it works.
I would I'll make a comment here. I did a state inspection of a water treatment system last week. And I'm so proud of the work that Sean and the team has done up at our treatment plant to make it just super good looking, well cared for, and easier to understand than most treatment plants by a long shot. And I would encourage the board to go up and board members to go up and take a look at this because it really is. His team has done an outstanding job, and my hat is off to what a great job they've done, and I'm really impressed. So I wanted to say that and encourage the other board members to see it and show it off and brag about it because boy, it's great. Our team's really it looks really great. And it'll work better because people will understand it better. State inspections will go better. It's really a big step up. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be sure to share the comments with staff.
Thank you.
Denison raw water pump was removed and replaced. Just the pumping part, the motor was fine. Highway 92 construction, I'd say 97% up. So by tonight, I blast their staffs out there some later tonight, hopefully. Doing the last tie-in. So, and final connection is remaining to do, will be done tonight. And Seymour pipeline, that was completed today, right?
Again, 80%.
Yeah, okay, 10%. The district sent its cross connection control plan out to the Water Resource Control Board, and they acknowledged it. So who knows how long we'll have to wait to hear back from them. The Esri City Works upgrades and its final testing. Standard details were posted on the website, which is really big. It's helpful for us to be able to point contractors and stuff in the right direction. Todd Schmidt attended the leadership training course. Darren, Mike, and Carson all attended the control specialist and all passed the state exam and are waiting for their certifications. If anybody has any further questions?
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Much appreciated. Kathleen?
Okay. June's a busy month. There were 2 reports that we had to get out by July 1st. So we submitted our annual water supply and demand assessment to the Department of Water Resources on June 12th. That was due by July 1st. Basically, we basically said that we have enough water to meet demand through fiscal year 2026. So good. And then the district published its calendar year 2024 consumer confidence report, also known as the annual water quality report. And the water we delivered to customers met all the drinking water health standards. So that was good news. There's also other information in the consumer confidence report that our customers might like. We have information on their CIP, there are water sources, some education about the lead in drinking water, and then we also have information about Water Smart, how people can sign up for it. And then probably next year with all of the changes we've made in our cross connection control program plan, we'll probably have something in the 2025 annual water quality report to educate our customers on our cross connection control plan. And any questions or?
Yeah, I'm seeing the three most common water quality questions. What is people, the first one being, is there fluoride in my water? We don't fluoridate. So what kind of response are we getting when we tell people we don't fluoridate? Is it positive, negative, or are people looking for it, or?
There's a section of, they are looking for it. I wouldn't say the majority, but I would say there's a significant portion of our customers that would like to have fluoride added because they're worried about tooth decay, mainly in their children. Sometimes if mothers are making formula, they want to know what the fluoride level is for the formula they're mixing, if they're going to use tap water. And then, so most of the people that call would like to have it in.
Okay, yeah,
We don't get a lot of negative, like they don't want it.
Yeah, I mean, just more curious. I know when my children are born, they go, "Oh, you're in CCWD. Here, take this fluoride home and rub it on their gum. Rub it on their gums." Yeah. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? There is naturally occurring fluoride in our water, isn't that true?
Yes, it is.
And how much below the percentage that would normally be in water is our naturally occurring fluoride?
Well, Sean can expand on it. So the water we do have naturally occurring background levels of fluoride, but SFPUC, so the water that goes into Crystal Springs Reservoir has fluoride added to it, but it gets so diluted within runoff and the other sources that it's basically just background fluoride. So I have to explain that, I explain that to people. So there is some added fluoride that isn't natural coming if we're on Crystal Springs.
But there is naturally occurring fluoride in the groundwater that we're drawing, right?
There can be, yes.
And
it's not always.
But it just trace even in those sources?
It's trace amounts. They're
trace.
much below like what SFPUC is dosing at.
Yeah, like by 100% or by 20%?
Well, it's not by 100. I don't know what the standard is because
It's 0.7. It's 0.7
parts per million.
Yep. It's point. Yeah, the CDC has recommended a 0.7.
And so what's
So we're
0.07?
So in Denniston, it's kind of it's basically
essentially non-detect a lot of them.
And then we have 0.4 parts per million. Oh no, I take that back. 0.13. So it ranges from non-detect to 0.5 for the Nunes treatment plant.
Okay.
And some of that could be because from Crystal Springs.
Yeah. Well, it's just interesting because I never thought it was enough to meet what people are asking to put in our water.
No.
But I've just always known that there was some amount there. And yeah, so just curious about it. Yeah, because there was at Bosca, there was a person that used to
Chloramines.
Chloramine.
Oh, no, but fluoride too.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
You don't remember the fluoride?
No, I remember the one woman who came in claiming chlorines were the source of all of her ills, and yeah, it was pretty sad to listen to every meeting. So.
Yeah, 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's sort of why I was asking too. If anybody's worked up, but it sounds like our customer base are asking legitimate questions, and there's no alarmism is really where I was going. So these are.
Most of the people have young children where the dentist asks them, and then they just have to use fluoridated mouthwash, and because we don't fluoridate our water.
Thank you.
But we sort of tend to become complacent year over year because the report always is pretty solid and pretty high quality. So once again, I mean, what can I say? It's a good report. I mean, the bottom line is this is great as usual. And all the people that contribute to making this water meet the quality standards and deliver the product to the public and give them something that's good for them and that is really, really up to snuff needs to be commended as usual. I mean, this ain't easy. And it's tested to death. And you know, we still come out looking really good. And so I thank everybody for the effort to keep us whole and keep us in good shape.
That's the vice chairman, as I mentioned earlier about the expenses, 14 tests were
Right. I
this
mean,
past month.
this isn't shabby.
That's
No way
pretty
anybody
good.
could say that. And we got a little bit blazoned with it over the years because it meets spec all the time. And it doesn't meet that because it wants to, because we make it. And that's the important thing. It's because that's what the people here believe in, is to deliver the best quality water to the public that they can, and they do. It's good.
All right, thank you very much, Kathleen.
Okay.
All right. Any requests for future meetings or board member requests? All right, hearing none, we can conclude the regular meeting. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Take care. Back there.
Take care. Thanks, guys.
Good luck, Peggy.
Thanks.
Management and legal team, remind us all confidential still.
Yeah.